Recently, there's been a lot of tragic shootings, unfortunately, going on here in America. Now, there's one at a garlic festival, there's one at Walmart, and all kinds of different shootings are just going on, and it's really bad. It's not good, and I'm seeing a really horrible pattern going on. I think that people, they need to calm down. They need to, literally both sides right now. I see Democrats and Republicans, they're freaking out. They're saying that we need more gun control, but we really need to see what is the bigger picture in all of this, okay? Seriously, just because there's a lot of events at once, it doesn't mean that we need to shift our whole entire laws and change that. The crazy thing is that if all weapons just disappeared off of our planet altogether right now, and all of a sudden it was just poof, they disappear. We don't know why. Maybe aliens did it from Area 51 or up in Mars or something like that. But basically, all of our weapons just got poofed away off of Earth. What would we do? Well, there'd still be weapons around. You would find rocks, you would find ice, you would find, even like a trunk or wood. You could turn that into a spear by carving that with rocks and carving that with other wood. And therefore, you would see that natural elements could literally be a weapon. And once you see that your pennies and your nickels and your, different quarters and coins that you have can be a weapon, and so on, you'll start realizing that everything is a weapon. You'll realize that soon that the decision is responsible to the person that owns the weapon. If they want to use that and actually be destructive with that weapon, cause harm with that weapon, then that's up to them. It's not that the weapon just started randomly walking on its own 2 feet by itself and then did that. That's not what happened. Somebody had to use that, take action, take force, literally. Okay, you see this pen right here? This pen, yeah, it's not a tactical pen. It's not a pen for self-defense, but they do make pens for self-defense. They really do. They make this pen that's like a shark pen or whatever, and it's like a self-defense carbon shark that literally, okay, you could hit somebody with this pen and it would be very powerful, not like a baton or anything like that, but it would be very similar because of the material that's used in this pen. Now there's other pens, I'm sure. Any pen. Think about a pencil. Think about a pen. Why did you get in trouble so much in school if you're going to throw a pencil across the room like a dart? There's a reason. But it's like, obviously, yeah, the reason why is that if you threw a pencil across the room like a dart, you can end up getting that in somebody's eye. And that's usually the warning, is that, if you have a pencil going throughout the whole entire sky, it flies, and then all of a sudden it goes into like somebody's eye, goes into their pupil. I mean, that's not a good thing to happen. It could definitely make somebody blind. And if you become blind or deaf, I mean, that's not good to already be born like that. I've met a lot of deaf people in my life, and it's a very unfortunate thing to happen to you, and especially the other way around if you're blind. So don't joke around like that by, doing stuff like that. So it sounds kind of lame that I'm taking a portion of my video to talk about not throwing pencils, but seriously, like, think about it if you don't want to throw around stuff that could potentially land in your eye or your friend's eye. But moving forward, I wanted to talk about a lot what's going on with all the shooters and what I think the motives are of them and why this is happening. I think that there will be a lot of violence that you'll see in your life. I think that that's a normal thing. I don't think that every single person is going to be, full of sunshine and rainbows and try to have the most perfect life. I think that people sometimes are full of hatred and wrath and evil, unfortunately, and they let that get the best of them. Therefore, they commit really bad crimes. They do horrific things to other people, and they're willing to do that. They're willing to cross the line that nobody of morals, nobody of respect would ever do. And that's because of different experiences or, things that they believe in their own personal life that nobody will really even understand, I think. I think that, honestly, even a cop or even the most experienced expert cannot even understand that line of evil, to be completely honest. If you ever heard that statement, a good guy with a gun is the only thing that will beat a bad guy with a gun, I think that that is very true. I'm not going to joke around. I'm not just saying that for any typical, conservative points or anything like that, for talking points. No, I'm serious. I really do think that the only thing that could really be a bad guy with a gun would be a good guy with a gun. Why? Because a bad guy with a gun, a bad guy with, so much ammo and a gun that wants to do horrible things to people, and they don't like, society, they don't like human beings. They're gonna go and do horrific things. But if you have somebody with a gun and they're a hero, you got to think of like, or law enforcement, for example, they're kind of like heroes, right? But you have the average person too, also with a gun, and then they're properly defending themselves, and all of a sudden they come in, contact with somebody that's evil. Well, the good guy is probably going to defend the public, and then obviously, you have an advantage there because somebody's going to help out. Now, if you only had criminals running around with guns, that's literally like in Mexico and the cartels. I mean, I'm not making a joke. I'm not laughing about that. It's very serious that it would become like that very quickly. I, for one, would rather live in a future where I had a bunch of random people, good people with guns, just able to protect themselves, than only the law enforcement and the government. I don't trust the government that much. I don't trust the law enforcement that much. I'm sorry, but that's just me as a citizen. I'm always going to hold that belief. I don't trust you that much to control everything like that. I think that citizens need to have more control. Citizens need to have more control where they're able to defend themselves on the street. Number one, I think that, besides a handgun, they said that the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution that we can only have handguns. No, that's not what it says. It says that we could actually have equivalent, I'd say like almost equivalent, weapons to what they have, so that, it's kind of equal. Not that they're totally above us, but yeah, that's already the picture already. They're trying to restrict us down to the point where we only have handguns. What a joke. That's kind of funny, actually. This is my thing, is that don't listen to a reinterpretation. Listen to the Constitution, exactly what the Constitution states, and follow that, because the people should follow what the Constitution states entirely, not what the Supreme Court thinks that the Constitution interprets. The Supreme Court never made the Constitution. The Constitution is not supposed to be divided or broken. So no matter what they want to interpret, the truth is right there. It's written down, and it's not something that should be broken. Honestly, it's not a shocker that they're trying to even break something like the Constitution, because they try to destroy everything else. But literally with the Constitution, it's something that cannot be broken. The way that liberals are going, you would literally have to make so in the future, you'd have to make a Tesla illegal because you have a driving car. Can't that be used as a weapon? No. Now you have a drone that can be used as a weapon. So let's just get rid of drones and cars from our whole entire future, and know that the liberals are totally going to take advantage of that in our society. Liberals right now are the type to take away a flashlight. If it's a high-powered flashlight, let's say you have a flashlight and you can see literally like across a whole entire desert with it or something, right? You have a flashlight, you're able to go, okay, you look through the whole entire desert in like Arizona, and you see scorpions, and you see the whole entire thing, all the snakes on the ground, everything all at once, right? Good flashlight. But they don't want you to have a flashlight like that. Why? Because they'll probably say later on that you can blind somebody, that it'll be really bad for your vision, that it's a harm for even citizens to own. Just like a drone, just like maybe possibly even a car in the future. The car is kind of like a far stretch, because obviously people are going to fight to drive their cars, but they're not going to really fight for drones in the future, I feel like. Even with all the videographers that are using it, and are using it for like basically purposes to match what any other movie can do. So let's go into this a little bit deeper. Okay, I was just talking about flashlights. Can this flashlight right now be used as a weapon? You have to ask yourself that. Can it be used as a weapon? And obviously, when you think about it, when you think about the voltage and how powerful a flashlight can be, then you start realizing, of course, yes, liberals will take advantage of this. It's just not even a question at that. You could really, you could question it, but just think about everything that they've done. And then it's not even a question anymore. Okay, another thing too. I really do believe that pepper spray, I think it's going to be something that'll put liberals in fear, because look at Antifa, how they use pepper spray. Look at how the left actually uses pepper spray and bear spray, and they just mace everybody to hell. But, having the right have that could be a huge consequence in the future, right? It seems that liberals, for some reason, do not want the right to be armed, and it's very strange. It's very weird. It makes us wonder, but also, at the same time, I think a lot more people on the right are catching up to what they're doing, their tactics on, basically trying to disarm us. And more people are getting more guns. There's more gun safes. And yeah, actually, it's a really good time for gun sales right now, I would say. So I bet gun companies are doing really good. You know what I mean? So anyways, so we're going to talk more about the little pepper spray and liberals. And actually, I really do think that they're going to try to get rid of this. Okay, so why am I going to say that? Do I just say that randomly? And like, am I going to say this for fun? No, obviously, it's based off of what I've seen in the United Kingdom. And what I've also seen in Canada. Not really as strong in Canada. It's like a mild version, I would say. But when you have the United Kingdom is very strict on weapons, and they don't let you have like anything. What I heard basically when I looked at all the videos throughout the United Kingdom is that, okay, if you're like a hiker and you have certain knives, I would say, while you're hiking or you're out in the forest, and you have an excuse for that because there's like animals and stuff like that. So you could say that you're defending yourself from an animal. But whenever you're not in the woods, whenever you're not in a forest or you're not out in nature, for some reason, those laws don't apply anymore at all, and you can't defend yourself from an animal. Therefore, you're going to be, around a lot of people, and if anything goes wrong and you self-defend, then there can be huge issues. So that's kind of not a good stance, I would say. That's not a good thing to happen in the United Kingdom. But I mean, what I read is basically, okay, I would probably always be like in the woods. That's what I do now anyway. I'm always in like forest and in the woods and like walking and like, doing a lot of different activities, hiking. So I'm used to that. But I would say it is a lot safer, and it's also a lot more dangerous at the same time, I guess, because of like animals and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're there and you want to have a weapon, you're really scared of all the people and the citizens and maybe even like different issues possibly with immigration, then that would be a good thing to do. I would say go on more hikes, go in the forest and get your escape. Obviously, in the United States, I think that we will always have knives, no matter what, literally. Okay, there could always be maybe a potential problem with guns because all the crazy liberals in our country and all the crazy people that are going insane about gun control, thinking that if you take away a gun, then all of a sudden no criminals will have guns. Okay, yeah, that's how that works. That's exactly how it works. No, that's not how it works. Okay, literally, I'm not going to go into that, but obviously anybody with a brain can realize that if you take away guns from the United States, that, criminals would have that. We'd have a bunch of guns being imported from like Mexico and Russia and, above the border, even in Canada and whatnot. Like, you would have guns being shipped all over the world. There'd be nothing that the citizens would be able to do. And yeah, violence would increase. That's why it's such a shame that even knives are being taken away from the United Kingdom, because possibly, I don't know if you're able to even use something as small as this blade and able to defend yourself when that can be inside of a holder, and you could just put that in a holder. Then all of a sudden you have a bigger knife, and I still don't know, literally, because I don't know about the smaller knife. So is the bigger knife even legal at this point? I really don't know, because the laws in the United Kingdom, they're very strict. They don't let you have a knife or multiple knives inside of a holder when it's strapped onto you while you're hiking or you're walking or anything like that. It's very weird. So I mean, I don't think honestly this length would be allowed even in public in the United States. But if you're hiking and you're out in the country and you're near a bunch of animals like mountain lions or something like that, okay, in literally the Pacific Northwest, you could be on a hike, especially if you go up north towards Canada or whatever, and you're out of Oregon, you start going towards Washington and stuff like that. You could be on a hike and there could be bears, there could be, a bunch of different mountain lions on there. There could be all kinds of different animals, raccoons, even at a point. I've been cornered by raccoons, and I've had raccoons literally hiss at me with a whole entire little group where they cornered me. There's 8 raccoons. So Washington gets crazy, Oregon gets crazy. There's a lot of different animals, and they'll go pretty hard. They'll go after everything. Why wouldn't you want to defend yourself from a bear or defend yourself from a mountain lion, even raccoons or other animals that can literally destroy you in the wild? We should be able to defend ourselves. And I think that even like the far left extremist liberal understands that. I mean, I don't think that somebody from Antifa is literally going to go on a camping trip and be able to be like, okay, if there's a bear, I'm going to deal with it. Like, these are the people that carry bear spray with humans that they don't like. So obviously they're going to be prepared in like the wild while they're camping. I would assume, maybe not. Maybe it's entirely, the opposite. I have no idea what these people do. But I would assume that, yeah, they probably prepare really, really, like a lot before they go in the wild, because look at how they act towards humans. The number one thing that's actually really disgusting that I really wanted to point out is how Republicans and how, liberals, Democrats, basically every single political outlet right now is using this as a form to have gun control. Just because you have a lot of shootings and you have really bad, tragic things happen in the world with other people that want to misuse a gun, or they want to use a knife improperly, or they want to use any other thing in the world that can be used as a weapon, it's really tragic. But the thing is that people are evil. People are not going to be the best that they can be, okay? Some people are very, very evil. And they don't like people, they don't like human beings, and something bad probably happened in their life, and we can't control that. That's always going to exist. It is. We should try to do better. We should try to do better to tackle mental health, and to also at the same time try to see warning signs that are on social media when people start talking about things that they do. I mean, like, you do have warning signs, but at the same time, I really do not think, even if 100 people right now were doing, a lot of crazy things with guns and knives, it's not in my control. It's not in your control. It's not in the average citizen's control. Therefore, why should we be punished? We have a constitution to protect our rights. If someone wants to say something ridiculous online, does that mean that our First Amendment is going to be, tested because someone said something? We have no control over what someone else can say. We have no control over the actions of what someone does with a weapon. I mean, if I pick up a weapon, I'm responsible for that weapon. If I pick up pepper spray and I start spraying on random people for the hell of it, I should be charged. I should be, going to court immediately and probably in jail, for doing that. But it's the same with the gun. It's the same with the taser. It's the same with any sort of weapon. Do you think that if you got rid of guns right now, what would happen? We would have more knife crimes. We would have more stabbings, and all of a sudden, everybody would be equipped with a knife because they wouldn't have anything else to defend themselves with. In the United Kingdom right now, literally past a year, this isn't even something that's new, but they have knives that are literally dulled down to the point where nothing is even sharp. It's very hard to cut food there. It's very hard to cook in the United Kingdom because they have, different blades that is very down of their usual sharpness. Therefore, it doesn't allow them to cut, vegetables properly, to cut meat properly, and that's a huge issue too. So we should not have this whole debate about who can own a weapon, who can't own a weapon. You know what this is about? It's about power. It's about the government controlling basically everything. If the government gets you down to the point where you can't defend yourself and you don't have a gun and you don't have knives, you don't have anything else to defend yourself, then obviously they can control you. So screw that, obviously. No, that'll never happen. Because in America, people realize that too. I'm sorry. And if you're in Australia or Canada or the United Kingdom, it's okay. It's still a wonderful place to live. They're very amazing locations. And I would say that, even though they are taking away a lot of your rights that you have to protect yourself, there's still other means of living. There's still other benefits of your location and where you are, and you should still fight for your rights. And eventually, maybe in the future, you will have, certain defense rights where you have your knives coming back, or you have certain little tools to use for self-defense that'll come back. You might not have, guns in the future, but still something that you could try to work out. I don't know entirely what's going on with the United Kingdom and why all of a sudden they're restricted of their weapons, or what's going on with Canada and all of a sudden they're restricted of their weapons. So with, Australia as well. I don't know what's going around the whole entire globe and why this is happening. But with the United States, I don't think we should fall like other countries. I think we should learn. I think that actually in the United States we should get more weapons. We should have more weapons for people. That's just my opinion. That's my personal opinion, okay? Because I really do think that people should own more weapons right now. They should be owning more lasers, more flashlights of high volts, and able to have, better guns. I love weapons. I really do. I love weapons. I love the use of weapons. I love that they're there for people to protect them. And as a woman, to have weapons, it's pretty cool because I can't really defend myself properly when it comes to a guy that can literally outweigh me by half of my weight that I have. If I literally weigh 110 pounds or less and there comes a guy that's about 200 pounds, that's a problem. So I need to have weapons. I need to have weapons on me to defend myself properly. I would say, especially if you're a woman that lives alone, that you should definitely have, a bunch of different weapons on you. And I know it sounds a little bit funny, but you need to be able to properly defend yourself. If you're not a big fan of guns too, it's definitely a good road to take, because you don't have to have something that could, technically kill anybody, but it'll cause a lot of damage at that moment. Basically, everything that I've talked about for this whole entire video has been a real weapon. It's been like a gun, or it's been a knife. It's been designed to actually be a weapon. I think the majority of what I've talked about, besides a flashlight and whatnot, right? But basically, or a drone, I guess that's not technically a weapon, but it could be used as a weapon. So yeah. But what I really want to talk about is simply how a rock can be used as a weapon. How that symbolizes Cain killing Abel, and doing that in cold blood, doing that against his own brother. And that's a big symbolization of knowing that you don't need to ever have a gun. You could simply have a rock. You could simply have multiple rocks. And all of a sudden, that could be used as a weapon. It's I'm not joking when I'm saying that anything could be used as a weapon. I definitely think that this is a good, example of what could happen if you got rid of all the guns in the world, every single gun, it just disappeared. There would still be murders. There would still be people that would kill another in cold blood and not even care about it, because some people don't have morals and they literally let the wrath of Satan take over. Do you know how many stabbings there are a week in America? There's a lot. There's a lot of stabbings. There's a lot of incidents where people will just get a crowbar or get a baseball bat or, literally a weight and then get that over someone's head and boom, they're done. So, really, we could talk about this all day because, like I said, anything could be used as a weapon. So we literally could be here all day talking about every single item physically in the world, and that would be, full of nonsense. We don't need to do that. On that note, I'm gonna head out, but I'm gonna have another video coming very shortly. There's a lot of videos on my channel if you want to go check them out, and if you want to consider donating to this channel, you could go down below to my bio and my PayPal at Living Capone and my Subscribe Star. So I'll check you next time.